Welcome to Liza's Vlogs. Today we will be playing through the first 7 days of Moonstone Island.
Wow, okay, so we have to fly. Okay, I didn't know this was that kind of broom.
Once you finish the tutorial, the game asks you to ride your magic broom, which puts you in a cutscene where the alchemist crash lands on Moonstone Island. I was extremely lost and disoriented when I crashed, so we ended up passing out on our first day, which I'm pretty confident is intended. Spring 1. When I woke up, I was inside a tavern where we met a lady called Osano. This marked the start of day 2. Once we finished speaking with Osano, we met a second NPC named Gaina inside the tavern, who called me weird and had somewhere to be, so I stopped talking to her. While exiting said tavern, a drone dropped a letter from our mom for us. She said she had a nightmare about how we broke our broom, so just to be safe, she sent us a balloon. Then I began to explore Moonstone Island. The first building that caught my interest had stained glass windows. Inside we met Ophelia, who had a request for us about collecting seeds. So I instantly left because I don't want any of that. I checked the blacksmith shop soon after, which had no one inside. So I went back out and ran into a scientist named Zed, who had another quest for me. Can you believe it? So I just ran away. I kept exploring and met another NPC who was named Farah. Farah wanted me to climb into a dark hole for her quest, so I said sounds fun. The last NPC we met during the night of the second day was a guy named Paolo. He seemed like a pretty chill dude who did not ask me to do any quests for him. The final thing we did on our second day was find a spot for our tents. Once we did, we slept in for day 3 to begin. In the morning, I wanted to clear out an area near my tents for a farm, which led to me finding a dark hole in the floor. So I planted my plants before I explored it. In the dark hole was what I would call a mine. And inside the mine was a chest which dropped the Moonstone, as well as a blueprint. At the time, I didn't know what either were used for. I spent most of the day mining away, making it nighttime when I left the dark hole. So I decided to visit the hot spring before I called it a night. The hot spring regened my stamina, but it was pretty slow, so by the time I made it to my bed, I fainted. Oh shit! I was standing here, I needed to go into bed. No! I was literally an inch from the bed, game. I need to keep a better eye on the goddamn clock. When you faint in Moonstone Island, the game starts you off 3 hours later than normal. You normally start the day at 6 AM, but since I fainted, it began at 9 AM. I was curious to explore the dungeons, however, as soon as I saw a big buff boy boss, I noped out of the dungeon and went to the beach. At the beach, there was a fishing shop that was run by an NPC named Tobin. Tobin asked me to collect fish from the distant islands, so guess what I told him? Risking my life for fish? Sounds great! Afterwards, I checked out the general store, which was run by Rowan. Rowan was nice enough to not force me into a quest. But besides that, the general store had seeds and fertilizer like most farming games. Once we left the general store, I checked out the blacksmith again, and we found out the town blacksmith is Farah. Farah will upgrade your tools for you for a price. The last thing we did today was visit the inn. Inside the inn, we met a handsome man named Quill who works there. Quill, here, for some reason thinks I'm the new mechanic. Even though I haven't seen anything mechanical for me to fix in this game, so we stopped talking to him. However, we still rent a room here for the night. The following day, we end up doing everybody's favorite, home invading. Sadly, the game does not let me enter people's bedrooms, if I'm not good friends with them. After we got the home invasion tendencies out of me, I went to water my plants and entered the mine. Unfortunately, a scarecrow murdered me while I was in there, which caused the current day to end early. That does just end the day! I woke up in my tent, ready to murder. I entered the deep dark hole and found a potted plant of light.
The combat system of Moonstone Island relies on cards and turn-based mechanics. After I defeated the potted plant, my spirit Kylo leveled up. To actually get any use from this experience, you will need to take out your medallion, which will allow you to speak with your spirits. In the level up screen, you will be able to choose one stat to increase and one card for your spirits. After I had my fun murdering a potted plant along with other enemies, I left the mine and visited the inn to speak with some NPCs. We met a new NPC called Cleo, who did not bother me with a quest. Then, caught up with Quill and Farah before calling it a night in-game. The first thing we did on the final day was water my plant. We were lucky enough to come across Ophelia, Gyna, and Rowan first thing in the morning. They were on their way to the hot springs, so I joined them for a bit. I filled my stamina, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to explore other islands. We took out our balloon and began to fly around until we found a cat-shaped island. Disclaimer: all island shapes are randomly generated. Then we battled a few spirits and I captured myself a fluff fox. I stayed on the cat-shaped island until nighttime, which made it so I witnessed a special event. This event happens at night on random islands and is called a psychic storm. These psychic storms have, in my opinion, the cutest spirits in the game. What the fuck? Then a giant house with chicken legs popped out of nowhere, so I went inside of it. Inside there was a man whose name was Magic Man. Magic Man gives me a quest to get his memory back, which can be found inside the dungeon. We left Magic Man and caught ourselves a mystic slime spirit. Then I pulled out my balloon since we were running out of time, and I flew off, back to Moonstone Island. But before I knew it, it was 2 AM. 2 AM is when the day ends, so we fainted again and I fell from the sky.
That would be bad.
And that ends our first 7 days on Moonstone Island. You probably know about this video game already, but 97% of you watching are likely asking, should I buy this game? My answer is yes, and I will not elaborate. However, one piece of advice I will give you is to change the duration of the day in your settings. I believe by default it's 15 minutes, and I feel like that would be super short for most of you playing this game, because it was super short for me. There are other things I want to elaborate on, like how NPCs actually go places and hang out with people, but I want to keep this video under 7 minutes.